Good evening from the farmer's garden. I'm one of the farmers, and it's been a while since we've been in the kitchen. This evening, I'm going to take you through a super easy recipe. I've done something similar before, but this is even easier. So in the past, we have made spinach lasagna, and I told you that you could also make the same thing doing spinach manicotti and stuff it in the shells. Well, tonight we're doing deconstructed spinach lasagna. So it's more of a casserole. It's more of a dump it in the pan and go. Not a lot of work to it. And the beauty of this is going to be a meatless meal. So grocery store prices are going up, and we're trying to find different ways that we can eat supper some nights without adding the expensive meat. So this is going to be spinach and cottage cheese and cream of mushroom soup and pasta and cheese and super yummy and super filling, but with no meat involved. So pasta is one of the ingredients that I keep on hand. So this evening we had our choice of rotini, shells, bow ties, or spaghetti noodles. We're going to go with rotini because that's what I wanted. And I'm just going to get some water going on the stove. There's a bunch of us, so we use the whole thing of pasta at a time, good salted water, and we'll get that boiling and add the rotini to it in just a minute. All right, so I'm fixing to chop up some onion and get the spinach chopped up as well. It's fresh spinach from the garden, but I'm going to always use the cast iron, and I'm going to use some saved bacon grease. Ooh. And I don't have a measurement for the bacon grease. I'm going to do until I think it looks tasty. And so we're going to get that heating up while I chop the onion and the spinach. All right, so I've got one smallish onion chopped up. And I always do those on the small side so the kids don't necessarily realize they're in there. So we're going to get that in the pan and get it sauteing. And then I realized that I had a yellow bell pepper that was starting to get soft. So I'm going to throw that in there too, just for funsies. So I'm going to chop that while this begins to cook down. I like the onion softer than the pepper anyway, so that works out well. Okay, so that bell pepper is ready to go in there as well. We'll give that a stir. I didn't get the bell pepper chopped up quite as small, but that's all right. If you watched many of my recipes, you know that I call myself the dump cook. That's D-U-M-P, not dumb cook, dump cook. I put in whatever I've got in the kitchen, and that's what turns into supper. So check on the water. It is starting to simmer, but not to a boil yet. We are going to go ahead and salt and pepper the veggies. I'm not really sure if that's the order you're supposed to do that in, but that's how I always do it. I'm also going to throw some garlic powder in there in just a minute and then get that spinach chopped up. So this is spinach from the garden. It has been washed already. Always wash our spinach or any spinach that you pick yourself. Those folds like to hold sand, and so there's one that didn't get clean. So we're going to wash it again, make sure we get all the sand out so we don't have any grit in our teeth when we eat this, and then we'll get it chopped up. I did not measure this before I started. Normally we sell our spinach in roughly an 8-ounce bag. I think this would be close to that, maybe a little less, but close to. So we're working with close to a bag of spinach if you were to buy it from us. Okay, so I just gave that a super rough chop, just kind of broke down the pieces a little bit. We're going to put them in the pan to saute down softer. And it sounds like our water is close to ready for the pasta noodles to go in as well. Pasta noodles, that's kind of redundant, isn't it? Yeah, that's about ready for the noodles to go in. So we'll cook the spinach down, we'll get those noodles cooking, and move on to the next step. So our vegetable mix is about ready. I think I'm going to go ahead and turn the heat off on that. If you had some cherry tomatoes, those would be tasty chopped up in there as well. Any of that good stuff that you like, you could just throw in there for funsies. We've got our noodles in the pot, and I'm going to turn them down because this burner loves to boil over. It's very wonderful for making jelly because it gets super hot, but it's kind of a mess with pasta. Okay, so I have got the oven preheating to 375. We'll bake this in a little bit. Got our veggies in a bowl. If you are not cooking roughly half of your family's meals with cream of something soup, these recipes might not mean anything to you, because that's a must in my kitchen. So that was a can of cream of mushroom. You could do cream of celery if that's what you have, whichever one. That is cottage cheese, and I'm just going to mix those together, which is going to take 2 hands. I decided that was looking a little plain to me, so I added about 3/4 of a jar of tomato sauce. I had pizza sauce in the in the fridge already opened, so that's the one I used tonight. Y'all, I have no rules in my kitchen. I am completely, whatever I have here, that's what we cook with. So that's what that turned into. That's the spinach, onions, peppers, sauteed down, and then it's cream of mushroom soup, cottage cheese, and in this case, pizza sauce, because that was the tomato sauce I had on hand. All right, our noodles are getting tender, so we're going to go ahead and drain those and stir in our sauce mixture. All right, so drained pasta and our sauce mixture. Again, this would be easier with 2 hands, but whatever. I'll get that all stirred together in the pot, and then I'm going to put it in a 9x13 pan, and we'll put cheese on top. All right, I even had what I would consider the right cheese for this dish. I had mozzarella in the house this time. Normally I just have cheddar or Colby, and that would have worked fine too. We would have eaten it, but the mozzarella is prettier on there. So we're going to put this in the oven at 375. The oven is now hot, and we're going to bake it until it's nice and bubbly. Ta-da! The longest part of this is definitely the bake time. I can't remember exactly how long it was in there, but I probably baked it longer than I had to tonight, because Brandon's out butchering some chickens for us anyway, so I wasn't in a huge hurry for it to be done. But you can see it's nice and bubbly, and it smells amazing, and the cheese is melty and delicious. He's still out working on chicken, so I'm not ready to serve it yet, but I'll show you kind of the innards there. Look at that. Yum, yummy. So I call this spinach lasagna casserole, and it is super easy. Just dump the stuff together, and there you go. I hope you enjoyed your visit to the kitchen today. I hope that you give this a try. If you need spinach, let us know. We have some available. Anyways, yeah, give this a try, and tell your friends about our page. Be sure and like and subscribe, and come back when you can stay longer.